And welcome to another episode of Dan Tony Sports. My name is Dan Snyder, joined tonight by Dan O'Shea and Tony Casper. Gentlemen, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, doing okay. Pretty good. Football season's getting close.
Yep, Dan O'Shea, we're going to talk about your Jets in a little bit tonight. We're going to talk about my Cowboys in a little bit. We're going to talk about the greatest football player of all time, in my opinion, in a little bit. And we're going to talk about the greatest sport of all time, in my opinion, in a little bit. Guys, we got a fun rundown of stuff to talk about tonight. But I want to start with some news that is a little happy news. Nothing crazy. But my favorite restaurant, Junior's Bar and Grill, just opened their Guilderland location, probably about 350 to 400 feet away from where I live. So,
good for you, bud.
Pretty pumped.
A good one.
Pretty excited about that as well, considering how close that location is to work for me, which is right down the road. So I can easily go there afterwards, and it's definitely, I would say, right on the way home. And I do love Junior's.
Oh, it's moonshine wings are just incredible, so good, and they're Nona's nacho sauce. Got some sausage in it. I don't know what other seasonings are in it, but it's practically magic. I mean, I miss Recovery Sports Grill that was in that location because Recovery is pretty good too. But Junior's is my favorite restaurant in the entire area.
Yeah, I think you.
Way better than Recovery Room.
Yeah, we got an upgrade there, Dan. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Yeah, sad for Recovery Room, but you got something better in its place.
Yeah. Oh, man. Let's stop talking about restaurants and let's get right into our news. Topic 1 tonight. This pains me. Much more than I think it should. The Rams and the Bengals had joint practice today, and practice was cut short because of a large-scale fight between the two teams in which Aaron Donald, who I am not shy about saying I think has taken over Lawrence Taylor as the greatest player of all time, regardless of position. I think Aaron Donald is the guy. He had one helmet in each hand, one Bengals helmet in each hand, and was fucking swinging them like he was trying to hit a fucking piñata. Now,
He's probably gotten fed up with everybody's shit at this point, and I think it's more like the excessive double teams. He's getting them in all practice. I mean, you see him starting to lose his temper even more in games, but I think he knows he's that good. There's nothing he can do about it, but he's done taking people's shit about it.
Yeah.
It's not a good look, though. You just won the Super Bowl, and then you're going against your opponents from that Super Bowl, and you're swinging helmets. I think he's going to get a little bit of a suspension for this, but who knows with the NFL.
Well, that's what I was just about to talk about. But first, another actor who was involved in the starting of the brawl is a major antagonizer. Former Dallas Cowboys offensive lineman La'el Collins was also majorly involved in this skirmish. But the suspension thing, you're right, he did. They did just win the Super Bowl. They basically had to beg him to come back to play another season. And we know he's got a temper. We know he's not the easiest opponent to get along with. That's long documented. He's also not even the easiest teammate to get along with. That's been documented. But Myles Garrett, just a couple years ago, was suspended 6 games for basically the same shit. For turning Mason Rudolph's head into a fucking end table. And it pains me, not that Aaron Donald is my favorite player in the NFL, that would be, either my guy Cortland Sutton or my guy Deebo Samuel. Those are my two favorites. But he is a player that I recognize as, like I said, the actual greatest of all time, in my opinion. So to see him just grab 2 helmets and just start swinging at people, very disappointed. Suspension needs to be coming, and it needs to... They suspended Myles Garrett indefinitely when he did it, which ended up being 6 games. I think they need to, push a little harder with Aaron Donald. It might be a full season. But it can't... Actually, no. Well, I mean, I guess this is worse than sexual assault in the NFL's eyes. So, yeah, full season.
Yeah, I was just saying,
it's not something, minor to the NFL, like being a serial sexual predator. This is something that's got to be taken seriously.
Yeah, this is a step below smoking pot.
Yeah, we can't have something heinous like that destroying the reputation of the league.
Oh, man, it's just... And, you know what? I'm going to add this little piece on, because we just mentioned the Deshaun Watson by proxy, basically. We just saw Matt Ariaza, punt god. Story just broke a little bit ago that him and 2 other San Diego State football players are being sued in civil court for, I believe it was aggravated sexual assault. So we got that story that's going to be coming. We'll see, how that half a quarter suspension for him goes, because they take that shit seriously. But it's just very frustrating, because Aaron Donald is a veteran. You can even make the argument, I think it's a dumb argument, that when Myles Garrett did it, he was still young in the league. Aaron Donald's been in the league since, 2013? This is his 10th year? He's been a professional for a long time. And it's very stupid. Very stupid.
Well, given his past, it's not like he doesn't know that this isn't something that you shouldn't be doing. I mean, he should know this, obviously, by now.
Mm-hmm. But, how many games do you actually see him getting suspended, or do you think he's not going to get suspended at all? Suspended at all.
I could see him getting a couple of games, because there is established precedent with Myles Garrett. I think it'll probably be something similar. The one caveat to that is that it's preseason. It's not, in a game, so they might reduce it.
I mean, does that matter? If they were at a bar and he did that, like, not in season, just took a dude's helmet off and hit him with it, I would think he'd still get suspended.
Yeah, but the thing is, the NFL's probably going to review this, and they'll probably get him a 3-game suspension under the pretense that it was preseason, and they'll probably wait to give that punishment because they're doing an investigation until after Week 1 and they play the Bills.
Yeah, I don't know how to look at the NFL and how they're going to respond to this, because we've seen them give La'el Collins a 6-game suspension for refusing to take a drug test. We've seen them give basically a lifetime ban, I guess, to Josh Gordon for smoking a little bit of pot. They gave Myles Garrett an indefinite, which ended up being 6-game suspension for this exact same thing. We've seen them give Tom Brady and Ezekiel Elliott bullshit suspensions over basically nothing. And then sexual assault and rape means absolutely nothing to them. So it's just... I wish there was some continuity so that I could say Aaron Donald is facing 8 to 10 game suspension because precedent says this, the rules say this, it is what it is. I feel like there needs to be a governing body that lays out exactly what expectations are and not just whatever Roger Goodell wants it to be.
You would think that there would be, in some way, that the players and everybody involved would just come to a conclusion of sitting down and ironing shit out so everybody knows that, hey, if you fuck up and you do this thing, this is what's the guaranteed going to happen to you, period. Like, unless it's an egregious offense that falls outside of those parameters, that's absolutely what should already be established. the problem is, I just feel like, because when Myles Garrett did this, if I'm incorrect, I don't believe I am, that was a primetime game, and that was part of the reason I think the NFL reacted so hard is because so many people were watching. This was a practice that not a lot of people were watching.
And with the NFL and punishments, did you guys ever see that South Park episode where they go over like the economy, and you go into like the back room and they cut off a chicken's head and see where it randomly lands?
Yeah,
pretty sure the NFL took that and was like, "Oh fuck yeah, this is exactly what we're doing for the punishment model." So
it seems it sure does.
Very possible. Very, very possible, because there's no rhyme or reason to this. But if you want to correct the problem, you sit down and you have somebody iron out what it would have to be for what offenses. And, yeah, it's probably going to take, the Players Association and the NFL working together. But something's got to be done where we establish rules here and doing what means what. And if you have to break that down to what times during the season, if it's, during a preseason and conduct having to do with the field, I don't know, but somebody's got to sit down and actually be like, you know what? We should probably figure this out.
Do you know who should do that? Thank you for bringing up the NFLPA, because I didn't think this was a big enough story to actually talk about, but now we can tie it into this. Now, J.C. Tretter, president of the NFL Players Association, announced his retirement after 8 seasons with the Cleveland Browns. Now he's got plenty of time to sit down and iron this shit out.
Yeah, you would think that someone like that should be able to do it, yes, considering how much they've had already know the system and be able to work with somebody and inside the NFL to be like, all right, listen, we need to figure out how the rules and how this is going to actually play out. Because, again, it's stupid that we need to, literally, you could almost get, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if there are places that you can gamble on what the suspension is going to be.
Yeah, I wish. Speaking of gambling...
Actually, Tony, that's kind of brilliant. If there's not already, why don't we start that?
Yeah, I know, right?
Dan D'Antoni bets! There we go!
Yeah.
Dan D'Antoni bets!
Yep, and that would be the perfect way to do it, because, I mean, you never know what it's going to be.
Yep.
It's absolutely, it's ridiculous. The NFL, it literally...
Under 4.5 games for the Aaron Donald suspension.
Yeah, I think that's a fair starting point at this point.
Now...
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, speaking of betting, man, I am excited that the football season is right around the corner, because that means I don't have to bet on women's fucking tennis every day again.
I mean, you don't have to bet on women's tennis if you don't want to.
Listen, I enjoy the betting, so if I want to place a 10-cent fucking bet on a 11-leg women's tennis parlay every day, I'm gonna fucking do it. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if the parlay comes through, I'm sure it hits big. I was going to say, you could go just full degenerate and fucking, gamble on horses.
Dude, I do enjoy horse racing, but I did something today. Now, I've been betting since, was it January 14th or whatever it was, when sports betting apps became legal in New York. I've never deposited any money into any of the apps I've used. It's mostly been FanDuel. I did mess around with Caesars a little bit. Didn't like it so much. But today I took $50 out of FanDuel and deposited $25 into Rivers and $25 into DraftKings, and I got their promo bet match. So I got free money on top of money that was already given to me. So it's just like I feel like I just scammed the system.
I mean, I could understand that.
Yeah, I'm excited. I enjoy placing my little $1 bets on the NFL. It's when I did my best work, when I had football to bet on. And we're going to talk about other football to bet on. That's going to be topic 4. But what do you say we move on? Are we done with the Aaron Donald fight? Or anything more?
Until we hear more from the NFL, I'd say yeah. We kind of have to be.
Suspension will probably come Monday or Tuesday is my guess, because they usually like to let the weekend happen, then review for a day or two. So probably Tuesday or Wednesday we'll hear about it. Anyways, as I take a drink of my Mountain Dew Major Melon, which is fucking delicious, by the way. If you've never had it, highly recommend Mountain Dew Major Melon. Topic number 2. This one,
not a sponsor.
No, not a sponsor. But it's very good. Topic number 2: Tyron Smith, Cowboys left tackle, longtime left tackle, probably one of the top 5 Dallas Cowboys. No, that's tough. One of the top 10 Dallas Cowboys in franchise history. Went down with a pretty bad injury.
Yeah, not good.
And he's going to be out until at least December. Now, let me take off my reporting the news hat and put on my Cowboys fan hat. I've been saying it's time for him to go for a while. I think they should have moved him to guard when they saw Connor Williams wasn't working out. Because last year, La'el Collins was playing well. Terrence Steele looked like he could be a good tackle in the NFL. I'm not saying he's going to be great, but Tyron Smith is just such a huge drop-off, and for whatever reason, it seems like nobody's noticing. Last season alone, he had more holding penalties. I'm pretty sure more holding penalties last season than he's had in his entire career combined, and he missed a lot of time. He's also had multiple instances where when the ball is snapped, he just immediately turns to his right and starts blocking Connor Williams. He doesn't block the dude in front of him. He just fucking turns into his teammate and shoves. And it's like, this guy has no idea what he's doing. He's slow off the ball. His run block is pretty bad because he can't get guys squared up and push back. It's always turn to the inside and push, which Zeke isn't the type of running back to bounce to the outside. He's patient, find hole, hit, go. And holes typically aren't on the outside of the tackles. The holes he looks for are typically between tackle and guard. He's just not as effective as everyone seems to think he is. And I said last year, the smart thing to do would be move La'el Collins to left tackle, put Tyron Smith at left guard, figure out whatever to do with the center. Zach Martin's still doing well, and then let Terrence Steele develop into a tackle at right tackle. I don't think Tyron Smith going down is as bad as other people who don't watch the Cowboys as much seem to think. Now, he's a great locker room guy. He's a veteran presence who knows the game, who knows the team. It's just his skill set does not match what people think he still is. And am I upset that he's hurt? Yes. I think he should retire. I think, after 3 seasons of missing significant time, when you're getting up there in age, it's time to think about maybe this isn't for me anymore. And I think he should take the hint, retire, have his health, and get into broadcasting, get into coaching, get into motivational speaking, community organizer for events.
Do literally anything else.
Literally, take your celebrity and your knowledge and apply that to how you can either help the next level of players coming up or how you can make a big impact in your local community. I don't want to see players get injured ever. It's terrible. But I think it's time for the Cowboys to move on from Tyron Smith. And in general, I think it's time for Tyron Smith to move on from football.
Yeah, probably at this point. He's not exactly doing himself any freaking favors.
Nope.
And it's certainly not on the field. Especially if your biggest memorable thing is going to be, oh, aren't you that guy that committed all those penalties? Yeah.
Yep.
Don't bring it up, I don't like it.
Yeah. Like I said, putting the Cowboys fan hat on, it's mixed emotions. It's, man, this guy was such a big part of my fandom for the entirety, basically, of my 20s, and now it's also, but I feel like he's holding the team back because Jerry Jones still believes in him, and we drafted a left tackle in the first round to move to guard. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. I feel like his presence is holding the team back, and I wish him luck in his future endeavors, but those future endeavors should not be playing football.
You're probably fucking right, but, I mean, at this point, who's to say? I mean, he may think he's still got it, but, I mean, if I was him, the smart thing would be to just hang it up. You had the career you had, and put it behind you. Go on to do something else, and be happy that you were there.
How old is he?
I think he's 31.
Okay.
Let me look it up, though.
Linemen definitely start to fall off around then. Not necessarily, but if he's got injuries piling up, at minimum he should definitely move inward on the line. But
yeah, he's 31. He was born the same year as me. Jesus fucking Christ! Oh God, I feel so old. I feel old.
I love that. Like, oh yeah, this guy's old and washed up. How old is he? Oh, he's my age, or sometimes even younger.
Yeah. Oh God, no. Drafted in 2011. He's had a great career, but 2020 season neck injury. Let's see. October 9th, he had a neck injury, missed the rest of the season. 2021, he missed 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16 due to injuries. This season, he's going to be out until at least December with a torn hamstring. 2019 season, he looks like he didn't miss any time. But, it's very much... He's injured again and again and again. And when you're 300 plus pounds and you're constantly getting injured and you're over the age of 30 and you're constantly getting injured, it's time to really, really weigh your options.
Reevaluate?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's more than fair. I mean, what more can you hope to get out of this? For your career, you've done what you can. I mean, you're not Tom Brady. You're not doing this forever. So, and you're in too much. There's too many points for why not to do it. So little points to do it unless of personal ego.
A Super Bowl, maybe, because they've had great teams since he's been in the league. Maybe we're this close to a Super Bowl. Just one more year and I can get it. And it's just... Maybe that's it.
That's a belief. That's a belief you can have, but it's such a hard thing to even try and remotely predict that you can even There's teams that are built for years that should be able to get a Super Bowl. There's teams that have to literally sacrifice their whole future to get one, which was proven last year. And there's no guarantee that your team is going to be there. It could simply come down. You could be prevented from being there by a coin toss.
It could be. There's many things. Like I feel like I can say confidently, the Chargers, when Phillip Rivers was in his prime, should have at least 2 Super Bowls. At least 2. Those teams were fucking stacked. They were so good, and the reason they don't have a Super Bowl. Luck, I guess. I don't know. But also, one of the best football teams I have ever seen, ever. I don't remember the year, but you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. The Panthers that went 15-1 and lost in the Super Bowl. That defense was incredible. That offense was high-powered. Everything seemed to be clicking. I think it was 2015. I don't remember. Those Panthers would have been able to compete with any historical team and played really well. They just so happened to have a couple of bad bounces, and I don't know.
I mean, but like I said, with those teams, like you can have the perfect season, but it doesn't guarantee you're going to win the Super Bowl. So to try, I mean, I guess if you really felt that you could compete, but I mean, the toll you're taking on your body, the toll it's already taken at your age, does it really mean that much to you? Because it's not like you're going to get a contract because now you're a Super Bowl winner at that point. You're going to get a contract because you're fucking 41, dude.
Right, yeah. And you're
going to get a contract because some rookie blew out his knee who was supposed to play that position, and we're fucked, we need to get somebody, i.e. fucking look at what the Jets did.
Yep. And another example of that, how many times has Adrian Peterson gotten a job because a running back went down? And they're like, well, he's available. And he's like 70? I'm just kidding, obviously. But he's definitely old for a running back. But he kept getting opportunities because of injuries.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think I have anything more to say about Tyron Smith. Tony, Dano, what about you guys?
I don't.
No, nothing to add. Except I guess now, we can commiserate together about losing our tackles.
I mean, I don't feel bad about Tyron Smith not being the starter. So I don't think we're in the same boat.
No, I mean, you're things happen you're not exactly pumped about, but, I mean, for Dan, it probably hurts a little bit more.
So I guess the best way to say this is, as a Cowboys fan, Tyron Smith, the person getting hurt, that sucks. I feel really bad. Tyron Smith, the player not playing, I'm good. Some things need to happen.
Who's his replacement that you're that cavalier about it?
So, there are many different ways they can go about it. What I would do is, like I said, you just drafted in the first round an offensive lineman to play, or a left tackle to play left guard, and that doesn't make any sense because, like I said, I feel like Tyron Smith holding some things back. So what I would do is take the guy who has experience playing left tackle and right tackle, and that's Terrence Steele. Move him to left tackle. All right. Left guard, who knows who the Cowboys are liking there. Farniok, Connor McGovern. Either way, you're getting a subpar left guard. Center is going to be either Farniok, McGovern, or Biotish. Who knows how that's going to go. Right guard, Zach Martin, and who is still one of the best guards in the NFL. No longer the best. I think it's Quentin Nelson is the best guard. But I think he's still one of the best. So I would put Tyler Smith, the left tackle we just drafted, who's been at left guard this whole preseason, move him to right tackle, let him get that playing tackle by fire on the side with Zach Martin. So let him come into that on the strong side where there's not as much pressure on the right tackles as there is the left tackles. Move the experienced guy to left tackle. Figure out what the fuck you're going to do with center and left guard. Because no matter what, that's a shit show. So left tackle, Terrence Steele. That's what I would do.
All right, yeah, that makes sense.
Plus, Terrence Steele has a touchdown. So he caught a touchdown last season. So give the man some fucking respect. Some respect. All right. Anything more before we go to break?
I don't think so.
All right. So we're about halfway done. We're going to take just a quick break. And when we return, we'll finish up with our final two topics in our This Week in Sports History. You are listening to Dan D'Antoni Sports. And welcome back to Dan D'Antoni Sports. All right, we've got 2 more topics to go tonight. Just to recap, Aaron Donald fight at joint practice. We talked about that. We talked about Tyron Smith getting injured. Topic number 3, actually, real quick. This isn't a topic I had tonight, but I got me involved. I got Dan O'Shea's team involved. Tony, let's talk for about 5.5 seconds. Eli Manning seen at Penn State, visiting the campus and the team. Penn State has said in the recent past that they want to put an emphasis on scouting quarterbacks. Was Eli Manning there just for fun? Or does Eli Manning and their want to scout quarterbacks going hand in hand? What do you think?
I think he's there to see Tom Segura perform live this weekend. That's probably about it. I mean, shit, I'd go there just for that.
Just excellent choice there, because Tom Segura is hilarious.
Oh, he's fantastic. My favorite stand-up doing it right now. I actually just ordered his book. I'd like to play alone, please.
Yeah. But I'm not thinking.
I don't know. It could be possible that he's doing all of it. It could be possible that he's looking out to Big Ten schools. Could be there to give some advice, recruiting wise, or if the Giants have some interest in possibly making a connection. Penn is pretty close. He's definitely got QB camps that he run every year that some of the top players are coming there too. So maybe he's trying to work something out with them to have them be included so that they can get more exposure to top-end quarterbacks, and it can go hand in hand. And, yeah, I'd probably pick the week because Tom Segura is going to be there tomorrow and Saturday night.
So the part of me hopes that this is their way of trying to recruit those Southern quarterbacks. But another part of me hopes maybe this is Eli Manning doing like a goodwill type of mission so that the Manning cast comes to college football. Yeah! Let's get that Manning cast in college football.
That would be, that's a smart idea. That might be something that they're doing. Do we play you guys at your building this year?
Should be home this year, but let me just pull up the
because that would be a prime game for him to want to be able to do.
Yeah.
And it would be cooler if they were also on site.
It would, like a college game day, but
they're doing the Manning cast from inside the stadium, so you get like a feel of 2 people being there in a stadium. I mean, obviously you'll have to have them included in some kind of way, but
yeah. So this year we get. Sorry, go on.
I said maybe not to the extent that they do for the guys actually announcing the game in the booth, but similar to being able to have a little bit of kind of what like the NBA does for like the halftime show and everything, where they have it like in between a section in the corner or something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, are we playing you guys there?
Yeah. So Penn State doesn't get to play host to many big teams. Oh, no, I lied. I missed part of the schedule. Yeah, so they play host to Ohio. They play host to Central Michigan, Northwestern, Minnesota, Ohio State, Maryland, and Michigan State. So, yes.
Wow, you're really keeping it in the Midwest of teams you're hosting, huh? With the likes of Iowa and Central Michigan?
Yep. But we go to Purdue, we go to Auburn, go to Michigan, go to Indiana, and go to Rutgers.
Well, I guess you get to travel, but those aren't places you want to go.
Nope. And college football getting crazy with the conferences and their crazy-ass expansion. When I think Big Ten, I think Midwest. When I think Midwest, I think fucking UCLA and Oregon.
Yeah, what? Yeah, that's going to be weird if all of a sudden the Ducks are in the Big Ten.
It's
one of the join there is because the academic standards inside the Big Ten I believe, are the highest in the country as far as conferences are concerned. Maybe
I think it's ACC. I think it's ACC. Because ACC,
I don't know about that.
They got
the Big Ten requires their players to have like 3-point-something GPAs to still be on the team. Not that makes a difference, because even the ACC and the Big Ten can make sure they take fucking classes for study hall and shit.
Yep. But with Wake Forest and Duke, I know those are both two very highly regarded academic schools.
Yeah, but I mean, so is Michigan and Northwestern. I mean,
oh yeah, Northwestern is fucking nuts.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not like the Big Ten goes without. I mean, Ohio State still has a great science program and shit like that. So I mean, like, they all have a lot of it. Penn State has high academic standards.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it to play in the Big Ten. And honestly, I think that the same merit. There was something. Wish I could remember. Keyshawn said something about the scholastic merits at UCLA and USC were always so much higher than the rest of their conference that they felt it was ridiculous they had to meet these certain standards when others didn't. He's like, looking back on it, I mean, me being an athlete, not giving a crap about that and thinking it was unfair, he's like, obviously it's worked out better in my benefit because I got a better education. Like, it allowed me to do more. He's like, but to me it felt ridiculous. He's like, that's probably one of the reasons that the Big Ten tried to swipe these two teams, which I hope it does help their recruiting, because those are historically legendary programs within college football, and they have suffered at the hands of, with the exception of Oregon, a lack of competition out west. Most people don't watch those games. Those are people who are either chasing a big bet because they are really deep in the hole, or people who are hoping for their parlay to come on, or degenerate gamblers who can't go to bed. Nobody watches those games.
That's not
college league out there.
Listen, I'm a fucking college football freak. I have college football on at least 2 screens from the noon games until I go to bed at like 2:30 a.m. Not because of the bets. This is how I've been for a long time. I will fucking watch the shit out of Hawaii versus Oregon State and have absolutely no stakes in the game.
I am sure that you will, but you were part of a very small percentile of the people watching that game. I can assure you of such a thing.
The worst part. There are
people who have their kneecaps on the line when Washington plays Oregon State, okay?
The worst part about those late games, especially the the Pac-12 on Fox, I used to have to suffer through Petros Papadakis for 3 fucking hours a week. And I'm so happy I don't have to do that anymore.
You chose that you were going, you woke up and chose torture that day.
I know, he's so bad. But, like, come on, it's like, why? How am I supposed to say, oh, yeah, I don't want to watch USC versus Oregon? Fuck you, Petros. Fuck you.
How do you feel about reading?
No, because I like to hear the whistles and shit, so I can't just read it.
I was gonna say, you can put it on mute and put the captions on.
Yeah, I mean, in the past, I've been lucky to where...
Wouldn't it be nice if you could do it like you can change the settings in Madden and you can be like, turn off announcers, keep field noise on.
I've been lucky a couple times when he's been the broadcaster that I've been able to find the game on radio, so I can watch the game on mute and listen to the game on radio.
Oh, well, yeah, you're lucky with that. Well, actually, do you have, like...
Nice.
Do you have any one of those devices, like Siri or Alexa or anything like that?
No, I don't.
I was gonna say, if you ever get one of those or those Echoes, you can actually find out what the like sports channel is for them locally that would be broadcasting those games, and you can literally tell her to play that channel, and she'll do it.
Yeah. What's the app I use? TuneIn Radio has free sports radio.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I use.
Jets Denzel Mims request trade.
That's literally topic number 3! Literally topic number 3! That's what we're going to talk about next.
I literally just saw it because it was scrolling.
Woe is me. What shall we ever do without Mims?
Listen.
Isn't this his second year?
Third, isn't it?
This is his 3rd year. And he has sucked. So,
he's the only player I've ever seen.
Who Who'd you guys get last year that was pretty solid?
Elijah Moore.
We got Elijah Moore in the draft, and then this.
Oh, and you have Garrett Wilson. Dude, kick. Whatever.
Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, solid 3 wide receivers.
Yeah, well, you really don't want to win again?
And we still have Braxton Berrios as like our gadget guy, and we've got other bodies that can replace Mims. Like there was some like reports like, oh, Mims is looking amazing in camp, and it was definitely the Jets trying to stir up some interest for a trade. In my view, I think he's a bum, unfortunately.
Well, send him somewhere he'll be fucking miserable, like Detroit or Cleveland.
Here's the thing. I've never in my career, you know what? I get so invested in these sports that I feel like it's a job sometimes watching them and paying attention and like running like the pick'em shit that we're doing and fantasy leagues. Never in my career have I ever seen somebody get so disappointed that they weren't released in training camp and then ask for a fucking trade. Like, he said he was disappointed the team did not release him. What?
Dude,
What?
It's kind of comical to me, like, when I view, like, things like this, like, Mims, who's in his third year, hasn't really accomplished or done anything to warrant the level to be able to be like, I request to be traded. It's like people who get their first time in Congress and they want to like make a difference, and then they get told by other people, you are new here, you are a freshman, you sit in the fucking back.
Stay in your lane. Oh man, yeah. So just for fun, Mims was drafted in 2020. Let's look at the wide receivers that were drafted ahead of him. We'll start with Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Reagor, Justin Jefferson, Brandon Ayuk, that's 6. T. Higgins, that's 7. Michael Pittman, that's 8. LaVisca Chenault
drafted after him?
No, they were drafted before him. 9.
Oh, okay.
KJ Hamler is 10. Chase Claypool is 11. Van Jefferson is 12. Denzel Mims was the 13th wide receiver taken. Hasn't done shit and is the one running his mouth.
One of the people on that list might be arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Justin Jefferson?
Yes.
Yeah.
The things he's doing are out of this world. He's the only reason Minnesota is relevant, and the only reason Minnesota would have a chance of knocking off Green Bay, assuming Aaron Rodgers doesn't take a bunch of DMT and just hurls the ball all over the place.
I disagree. I disagree slightly with what you're saying. Delvin Cook is also a top 3 running back in the NFL.
Yeah, but okay, that's fine. You have a nice toy until it breaks, and then you gotta wait for Dad to fix your toy. So this is why you can't have nice things in Minnesota. They break. Yeah. And Ski-Doo is a great. You know what? Actually, any snowmobile company will tell, or any rider will tell you this. You know what? They're a whole lot of fun, but they're gonna break on you. That's kind of how I feel about a lot of things that happen in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And how I feel about Dalvin Cook. That being said, you are correct, yeah. But with him and Justin Jefferson, they have an actual chance. Although the cycle seems to happen the same every year in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers gets mad. They win a crap load of games. Our first or second selection for NFC, blow it somewhere in the playoffs, and then they have a questionable off-season. Aaron Rodgers gets mad. Rinse and repeat.
Yeah. I will say, Justin Jefferson, I said in the middle of last year, I'm not saying Justin Jefferson's the best wide receiver in NFL history, because after the second year, that'd just be fucking stupid to say. But I can see Justin Jefferson at the end of his career being the best wide receiver that's ever played in the NFL.
If he can continue this level of play, yes. But we also know that, like,
shit happens.
Shit happens. Plus, last year, I mean, you're going to see more and more teams giving him double team treatment because the same happened for Stephon Diggs. He did it once in with the Vikings, and then he went over to Buffalo and did it again. And then you saw last year teams were like, no more of this shit.
Yeah. So we'll definitely see, because it's not like they can only dedicate people to Justin Jefferson, because if you do that, Adam Thielen's gonna fucking feast. But
yeah, I know. Well, Adam Thielen's fine about it. He's like, hey guys, I'm still here. Nobody cares about me? Okay, I'll just be catching a bunch of touchdowns and be wide open.
Yeah, so it's definitely. How do we even? Why are we talking about? Because my dumb ass was like, "Oh, let's go through all the wide receivers drafted before him." This was a crazy tangent.
It doesn't matter because it doesn't. Somebody who has had a subpar career and hasn't really contributed all that much, and was a second-round pick in his entering his third year, demanding a contract, means so little to me. I'd rather talk about something else. I can't even believe that must be how slow things are.
All right, Dan O'Shea, this is for you.
Yeah, sure.
I want to know your honest thoughts. Would you rather have Denzel Mims or Jalen Reagor?
Oh, ew.
Those are his only options?
Neither, neither of them have. Actually, no, that's not true. Mims was on my fantasy team for Dynasty in preseason of last year, and then his ass got cut. The Jets, unlike my Dynasty fantasy team, the Jets have a practice squad. No one's picking this bum up off of waivers, and he knows that. That's why he's like, trade or release me, because we're not gonna. We're gonna say, okay, you didn't make the 53-man roster. You're gonna go to our practice squad unless someone picks you up off waivers. No one's gonna, so he's gonna be a practice squad member. And he obviously doesn't agree with that, but dude, we don't have a dynamite receiving core. We've got like a pretty solid one. You can't crack starting reps. You can't get even with the second team. You're not good.
Dude, There is a rookie and a second-year player outperforming you, man. Like, you've been here. You should know how this goes.
And a wide receiver that, for their expectations, has also very much underperformed in Corey Davis.
Yeah, well, it's not like Davis has been fucking good,
But I'll tell you, I mean, getting Garrett Wilson, if you guys can get him the ball correctly, you're going to have lightning in a bottle with that little bastard.
Second best receiver in this draft.
Oh, I'm targeting him pretty hard in late rounds of drafts, especially in Dynasty or Keeper leagues I have, because if he's going to fall to like 9th, 10th round, I'm going to gobble that up. Nom, nom, nom.
Like I said, second best talent in terms of receivers in this past draft. I know, we didn't really get to see John Mechie much, but I think Mechie was the best wide receiver last year in college football. Garrett Wilson, a close number 2. Yeah, Mechie is just incredible. And it sucks that he got hurt, but that helped build Jameson Williams up, so, that helped him a lot.
Where did Mechie go?
Texans, and he's out for the season with an injury.
I'd fake an injury, too, if I was on the Texans. I'm not going to fucking play this game until you figure some shit out here.
Wait, hold on. Is it for the full season? Let me see. Maybe I'm wrong about this. After the second round. Yeah, dude was hurt for most of the season. Fucking still a second-round pick. Incredible. Oh, he's at practice. He's I guess he's at practice, so maybe he's still recovering from a torn ACL that was suffered
Yeah, I'm sure he's at practice because he's going to do the right thing and all that stuff, but I mean, they're not... An ACL, man, you're not going to rush that, especially on someone you took as a draft pick in the second round, which you knew he had an injury. So,
okay, I remember now. It's non-injury related. He's going to miss the entire 2022 season because he was diagnosed with leukemia and he's going through treatment for that. That's what it was.
Fucking A. That sucks.
Yep. He tore his ACL in college. Would have been medically cleared to play by now, probably, but he was diagnosed with leukemia and is taking the year off to fight that and recover.
That's nuts. That sucks. That's terrible.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anything more you want to say about Denzel Mims requesting a trade?
Nah, all good here.
I certainly do not.
I feel like Dan has the same response to Mims requesting a trade that I had with Tyron Smith getting injured.
Yeah. Okay, that's nice. That's news.
Yep. And our final topic, unless we can think of anything more to talk about after this. College football starts Saturday. I'm fucking pumped. I am fucking pumped. Do you know who
starts this weekend, though?
All right, so I'm going to tell you, while I'm pulling this up, the game that I am most excited to watch on Saturday, it's going to be a surprise maybe. Saturday, 7 p.m., number 10 overall Baylor. All right? Number 10 overall Baylor takes on fucking football powerhouse University at Albany. Hell yeah. Go Danes.
Oh, wow. So Albany gets to go down to Texas on a trip and get a shitload of money to get their ass kicked.
Yes. Hey, wait. You remember Appalachian State?
Come on, Appalachian State again. I
Hell
will
yeah.
love that.
Same.
I'm willing. I don't know what the odds have to be.
Oh my god! Yeah, imagine we pull up the upset, vault into the top 25 for a week.
Listen.
Put $1 on it.
I've been looking on all the betting apps, and I cannot find this game. But
Let's split a $100 bet on Albany.
But I'm going to say this right.
Although I don't know, the odds might be so high that Vegas is like, we're not taking on that risk. We learned a lesson from Michigan.
Yeah, but I will say, I have an opinion that a lot of people might not agree with. If you are an FCS school and you go to an FBS school that's in the top 10 and you beat them, that should be an automatic ticket to the playoffs. No matter what you do for the rest of the season, that should be an automatic playoff qualifier.
Okay, so if they expanded the playoffs, I'd give you that argument. But as it stands right now, no.
They've already got 24 teams in the FCS playoffs.
You're talking about an automatic ticket to the FCS playoffs?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, then absolutely. You'd be one of the top 25 teams in the country, yeah.
That makes more sense, and that's actually easier to implement. I don't think that would be that hard to do.
You absolutely should.
If you beat a top 10 team in FBS and you're an FCS school, automatic entry into the FCS playoffs.
If you beat any team that is ranked in the top 20, you should be allowed. At 25 even.
But top 25 matchups this week in college football. One second. Okay. We're not going to do top 25 because the first top 25 matchup is going to be... Oh, wait a second. I think I have something wrong here. Saturday, September 3rd is the Albany-Baylor game. So it's not this weekend. This weekend, we've got Austin Peay versus Western Kentucky at 12 o'clock to start the season. Nebraska, Northwestern, that game could be decent. Idaho State, UNLV, UConn, Utah State, Illinois, Wyoming, Florida State and Duquesne, FAU versus Charlotte, Florida A&M versus North Carolina, North Texas versus UTEP, Nevada versus New Mexico State, and Week 0 concludes with Vanderbilt versus Hawaii. College football returns this week.
There's actually they're not terrible games for this weekend. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that there's a Big Ten game that early. Is that like a Friday night game?
No, these are all Saturday. But the Big Ten, it seems like I'm going to go look at the Big Ten specifically. Let's see. Nebraska Northwestern immediately into a Big Ten matchup. Penn State Purdue immediately. Illinois Indiana immediately. And that's it. But Ohio State on September 3rd.
I know who we're playing. We're getting the fucking self-righteous, self-unproven, we rank high because of our name, Notre Dame, walking in here. I don't care.
Listen to this. This just goes to show you how much people don't trust Notre Dame, or maybe it's the positioning. Notre Dame is number 5 in the nation, and they are still a 15.5 point underdog to Ohio State.
Yeah.
15.5.
They get ranked by their name, and I was rightfully more concerned with Oregon coming in than I would be anytime Notre Dame walks through those doors. You don't concern me. You don't. Like, Michigan usually beats you. In 8 of the last 10 years, we've beaten Michigan. Like, I'm not worried about you. Yeah, Michigan,
I don't know what to think about Michigan this year. They lost a lot of players. It felt like they got lucky rather than the tides were turning in that game last year against Ohio State. So I don't know how to feel about Michigan this year in terms of sports-wise. As a Penn State fan, fuck Michigan. But in terms of non-bias, they're one of the most confusing teams.
On that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, like I said, I kind of hope that this Ohio State-Notre Dame game goes to the point that Ohio State beats them so bad that they get smacked back to the point that it's like, all right, we don't want to hear from you for the rest of the fucking year, even though we know that you're going to make your voice heard. Nobody wants to fucking hear it.
Notre Dame beat Navy by 17. Oh, they're back, baby.
Yeah, okay. Navy, who's passed maybe 13 times in the last 5 years.
That sounds like a cupcake matchup to me. Meanwhile, Oregon faces Georgia. Ugh.
Yeah, I'd be more worried about that matchup.
Oh God, I'm so worried.
Dude, Navy. Listen, no offense to Oregon, Georgia's gonna beat the fuck out of them.
I mean,
the only thing is we have their former defensive coach, so we might have a little bit of an advantage there.
That's tough.
I don't think we're gonna win. I just want to keep it close.
Yeah.
Are you guys at home against Georgia?
Wait.
Let me look. I've got it
Let me
up.
see.
No, it's in Georgia.
Yeah,
oh shit, Georgia's a 17.5 point favorite.
Yeah.
Well, being in Georgia is tough. I mean, the home team was going to get an advantage there no matter what, because Georgia's a very tough place to play, but so is Eugene. So, I mean, I can't say that I'm surprised, although given that knowledge that Dan just gave me with their former defensive head coach, I wouldn't be surprised if that game is close for longer than people think.
So let's just.
I'd probably take Oregon in the points.
Maybe
it's
the
about
points.
the toughest. By far it's the toughest matchup of the season for us, and of course it's opening week, which we never.
Oh, yeah, but
that's
we never
good.
start off that strong. We always take a few games to get going, so I'm a little bit worried.
But that's where everything's been heading for a long time. Because, I mean, I know in the future, I forget what 2 years it is, but Ohio State starts the season back-to-back years playing a home-and-home tour against Alabama to start the season.
Yeah.
Coming up in the future. That's already been contracted out. That could be a preview of a playoff or national championship game played week 1.
But that's the good thing, though. Playing these games early.
So could this, bro. What are you trying to say?
So
yeah, you're right. It could. You're absolutely right. You don't know how it shakes out.
I don't think we're going to be that good this year. I think 1 year off for the coaching to implement their new system and everything, and maybe we'll see.
Dan, I also agree with you. It is good. I think that this further pushes the argument that the playoffs should be expanded.
Well, yes, but it's good to get the tough
100%.
game out of the way like this because do you remember, Tony, I know you remember, Penn State beat Ohio State on that blocked field goal return for a touchdown, basically. That basically won the game for them. Then Penn State just kept winning, beat Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship, and Penn State got left out of the playoff.
Oh,
And-
yeah, I remember that. Mostly
and-
just because of your ranting, justified ranting, but ranting.
But the committee had said if that bad loss to Michigan happened week 1 or 2, they would have overlooked it and Penn State would have been in the playoff. But it happened
Yeah,
week
especially if
week
it's
6.
against a powerhouse team, which you're right, starting the season isn't a bad way to do that. I mean, most teams would probably schedule a cupcake game the week before, but even still, if that's how you start your season, I mean, you're at your most vulnerable, but so is your opponent.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've got to try and figure it out. I mean, again, Ohio State was not ready for what Oregon could throw at them, and it showed. I mean, their defense was exposed. That being said, their defense should be better this year. It's still their weak side of the ball, but it's hard to compare it when you hear all year long that Ohio State's got 2 of the best tackles in the country on either side.
Yep. They
And all the weapons they have on offense. I mean, they're
top 3 receiver in the nation. Arguably
and
number
you have-
1.
And then you also have Henderson, who, as a freshman, rushed for over 1,000 yards last year.
And then a quarterback that looks like he's, Justin Fields, but better already.
Oh, dude, he is. I mean, there's no argument. I mean, he just is. He's like the best combination of what they can. I mean, I'll be honest, as an Ohio State fan, one of the things that I'm happiest about is Ryan Day being given the job after Urban Meyer, because Ryan Day is more of a pocket pass, like actual traditional developed quarterback guy, which Urban Meyer's system, as far as like a jinx type offense, was really good and very hard to stop because it was constantly running in all directions and constantly moving. But you're more of a threat if you have a guy who can scramble but can also stand in the pocket and deliver a 70-yard bomb.
Yeah, so we're going to run out of time, but I'm going to have the last word here on C.J. Stroud, and then we're going to go to our This Week in Sports History. It's like C.J. Stroud is all of Ohio State's recent quarterbacks, all of their weaknesses gone and all their strengths into one. Fields and Dwayne Haskins and what's the other dude's name?
I mean, you can go on and on.
Cardale Jones.
Cardale Jones, Braxton Miller.
Everything that they all did well, he does. It's like a combination, and it's exactly what Ohio State needs. Unfortunately, got to end it there because we got literally like a minute and 30 seconds, and we got to go. So This Week in Sports History, found on onthisday.com. August 23rd, 1933, first televised boxing match, a 6-round exhibition at Broadcasting House in London between middleweights Archie Sexton and Lowry Raiteri. It was aired by BBC TV. First ever televised boxing match.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
And now boxing is a fucking joke.
It sure is. Run by fucking YouTube stars.
Yep.
All right. Any last thing you want to say real quick before we get out?
It's starting to feel like football season. I just stepped out for the grill, and it feels nice.
It sure does feel like football season. I am excited. Dan O'Shea, last word before we're cut off.
Just ready for some football, man.
All right. Guys, thank you all for listening. If you want to find us on Twitter, we're at Dan D'Antoni. On Facebook, we are Dan D'Antoni Sports. Send us an email, dandantonisports@gmail.com. So for Dan, Tony, and Dan, have a good night.